Welcome to Variant One Shot. For today's episode, I wanted to talk about a character that has never had his own episode on the channel, and that would be Sentry, more specifically how powerful he is. He's arguably the most powerful hero in the Marvel Universe, and is constantly being referred to as Marvel's Superman, so let's find out why. Let's start with a brief overview of the character. The Sentry's real name is Robert Reynolds, and he became one of Marvel's strongest heroes when he took an experimental super soldier formula. He's also constantly having to fight his dark side known as the Void. As far as his powers and abilities go, he's got quite a few, like a whole lot. He has superhuman strength, speed, senses, invulnerability, intangibility, invisibility, telepathy. He could bring people back from the dead, shape-shifting, matter manipulation, immortality, and telekinesis. He was also shown to have the ability to emit a wave of radiation that could calm the freaking Hulk. In fact, Sentry's most popular fight is probably during the last issue of World War Hulk, where they go at it for multiple pages and the Sentry is all amped up because he's all like, finally, someone I could let loose on. By the end of their fight, they fought each other to a standstill as they both revert back to their normal human forms. I'd say battling the Hulk to a draw is extremely impressive and proves that Sentry is easily one of the strongest heroes out there. But let's talk about some of his strongest feats to really cement that in, shall we? The Sentry, or the Void, who is essentially just the evil side of Sentry and is best explained as more of a black force that can take the shape of anything, once broke every single bone in the Hulk's body, putting the Hulk down for a few days. Sentry also wrecked shop in Asgard like it was nothing, but what was even more impressive is when Sentry fought the Absorbing Man. Absorbing Man was impressed with just a small amount of Sentry's power, saying he never felt power like that before, and mind you, he's absorbed the Hulk's power, Thor's power, and Odin's magic. And that was only a fraction of Sentry's power. Sentry then stops holding back and says, let's see how you do with the power of 1 million exploding suns. So he grabs Absorbing Man by the neck and melts him atom by atom, dissolving him into photons and neutrons and solar wind, as the caption details. That's just insane. Speaking of insane, it's one thing to have the power of 1 million exploding suns, but it's something else entirely to have that much power on top of being able to resurrect the dead. That's right, as I mentioned earlier, he could bring people back to life. When Ultron brutally killed Sentry's wife, Lindy Lee, Sentry just resurrected her with a single touch, and she had no idea what had even happened. Talk about having godlike power. Then there's also the time Sentry casually offered to sink the island he and the Avengers were fighting on, so Magneto wouldn't get away. Casually telling Captain America and the Avengers, I could just sink the island if you want. No biggie, just say the word. Moving along, we have the time Sentry stopped She-Hulk from throwing a punch, and then just throws her out of the city with very little effort. Sentry also easily overpowered Thor and punched him through several buildings on an alien planet. He followed that up by throwing him into green gamma lava, and then held him up in the air by his freaking neck. Sentry has also regenerated from a bare skeleton back to normal in just a few moments. But even more impressive is that he stated while fighting Thor that he could regenerate from a single atom. I mean, we know he's immortal, but that's just craziness. Then we have the time Molecule Man destroyed Sentry by ripping him apart, but Sentry just reformed and took control of him. Molecule Man even said, how are you doing this to me? I control the molecules, I do. Sentry then forced Molecule Man to put everything back together that he messed up, and then tells him to go away by ripping him apart. What goes around, comes around. I could go on and on with examples of Sentry's incredible strength, speed, matter manipulation, and so on, but I'm just gonna end with the time he ripped Arris, the son of Zeus and the Olympian god of war, in half with his bare hands. Come on, do I have to say more? Just look at this panel. He just ripped him in half. Look how nasty that looks with all the blood and guts everywhere. That's just straight savage. But with that said, I think you now have a good idea of just how powerful of a hero Sentry is and why he's arguably the most powerful hero in the Marvel Universe.